Welcome back to your Daily Dose. My name is Robert, and I'm here with my pal Marc, who just breaking news watched The Sandlot for the first time, the 1993 classic. And I know people. Wait a minute. He said he's been a screenwriter. He's a guy who's creative. He loves baseball. He hasn't seen The Sandlot. Marc, talk to us first about why you hadn't seen The Sandlot until now.
I know I emailed you about this because when it came out in '93, I was in my early 20s and I thought it was a kids movie probably at that point, and it just for whatever reason I didn't I don't know why. It's a good question. I have no idea why. I obviously watched Bull Durham, and it was right around that same time period, a few years earlier than that, and loved Field of Dreams, loved The Natural. This all had happened, but I'm for whatever reason, kids movie, I'm not interested, and so I just never watched it. And 32 years later, here I am watching it for the first time.
When in life nostalgia becomes valuable to us, right?
Right.
I have teen kids. Do you have teen kids as well?
Two. I have twins who are 12,
Okay,
13 actually. They just turned 13 recently.
great. Mine are 16 and 14, so
Okay.
we're similar. And I can just see in my older one a hint of nostalgia. My
Mm,
14-year-old daughter has no interest. When I bring up old, Dad, stop it. You're right. It's the worst.
right.
Somewhere we decide nostalgia is important to us. Somewhere we look at our life history and start looking back. And I'm with you. The 20s, that may not be that time. We're all very self-involved and the world's just
Right.
opening up. So for you, now the grand reveal, you've seen it. Go ahead, give us your unvarnished feels about what you thought of The Sandlot.
I don't think it ranks up for me personally in the Field of Dreams, The Natural, Bad News Bears, which the original, I loved that when I was a kid, and yeah, Bull Durham and all these those to me are the true baseball movies in my mind. This was a fun one though. I did enjoy it. It's the absurdity of it and the bigger than life things that they make of the dog, whatever. It was fun. But also at the same point, obviously the speaking of nostalgia, obviously this dealt with nostalgia that the main character is thinking about his childhood, whatever, and that was something that I could certainly relate to, and think back to my time playing Little League as a kid in Hawaii, and what are those kids doing now? I don't even know most of them are doing anymore, and so those kind of things definitely I can relate to.
Now, let me ask you, because I don't know if you've seen, but I pretty good relationship now with the writer director, David Mickey Evans, great
Mm,
guy. And we've done a lot of these interviews and, I'll be completely honest. When I watched The Sandlot, I really did enjoy it, but I understand your point of view. I mean, versus Field of Dreams, which I mean, is really my all time. Also loving The Natural, Bull Durham. Yes. Eight Men
mm,
Out, another classic, that I love, even Major League broadly, right? This is,
yeah,
this is a different film. So I
sure.
totally get what you're saying. This film grew on me the more I watched it. And with
Mm,
my kind of study, which I'm now going to be teaching it as one of my cinema therapy classes,
that's awesome.
yeah, because I think I've seen something in it. And not saying you didn't. It's just you start looking and you go, oh, wait a minute. There's an opportunity for a metaphor, for a perspective. Have you seen the movie Stand By Me?
Yes.
So I really think that's kind of a latchkey, and certainly was influential
Mm,
in David's writing of this. And you hit right on it, right? The looking back, same framework type of thing.
right.
Obviously, they're looking for a dead body. They're looking for a replacement for the Babe Ruth ball, right?
Right.
But in that world, Scotty Smalls feels like he's going to die, and his friends tell him, "You are going to die because you took
Yeah.
this Babe Ruth ball."
Right.
Right. So, which leads to the Flights of Fancy. It also makes me think of A Christmas Carol. Not Christmas
Yeah.
Carol. I
Yeah.
take it back.
Christmas Story.
Christmas Story. Thank you.
Yes.
Right, those kid-like perspectives on the world. A little older than Ralphie, a couple years older than he is,
Right.
but still the idea of the stories that run away with us and become true. And I mean, you being a storyteller, talk to me about the power of story to indeed shift our perspective or make us believe things that sometimes aren't even real because that's how it feels to us. That's a story we're telling ourselves.
Right. So I actually, one of the scripts I wrote was about a guy who traveled back in time 20 years and basically he found himself and was interacting with himself as a kid. And and so I can relate that. And obviously that, how do you believe something like that? Well, the story allows you to believe something like that if it's told well. So.
Yeah, and there, like you say, there's emotion, there's effect, there's a reason why we would want to meet our past self. I mean, I
Hmm.
think Back to the Future, which is another one I've taught, obviously massive
Right.
impact, and him having to save himself and save his parents and all that. So time travel brings up all sorts of fun paradoxes.
Sure.
But the idea of storytelling as a health device, I wonder if you've ever framed it that way, because story is a big part of that. Do you see story in your life or in the life of others that you're involved with to say, yeah, story really has shaped who they are or who they want to be?
Huh, that's a good question. I need to think about that. I mean, I I've definitely I so as I when I was younger in my 20s, I had some health challenges, and that actually I think helped me. Storytelling helped me kind of deal with those health challenges, honestly. Just it's a way to kind of separate yourself in a way from the experience, but also at the same time, like be able to connect to it by like, fictionalizing it perhaps, because I actually did fictionalize the health challenge that I just experienced. And so, yeah, I can understand that personally. I don't know that I how much I can think about like other people in my life who've done that, but again,
Right.
I need to think about that, but
But you get it. You nailed it. I don't know if you know the term. It's one that actually one of my students brought to me, and I knew the concept. But once he gave it to me, I was like, oh yeah, aesthetic distance,
mm,
right? Where we position ourselves opposite of a hero, not opposite, but at a
right.
distance from a hero we create, a protagonist, and therefore get to tell a greater truth, something we can't wrap our mind around because maybe it's too painful. I mean, in my community, the people with Parkinson's, how the hell do you deal with this chronic disease that you know is only going to trend in one direction? And by the way,
Right.
you're going to live with it for a long time. I mean,
Yeah.
that's it leads to a cacophony of problems. But anyway, the power of storytelling. I'd love to have you back for one more episode, if I may.
Of course.
All right, I'll see you on the next dose.